Hello, I'm Cody Dunlap, and this is my EDL 856 Module 16 case study. It is titled Parental Apathy. So starting with Category 1, what I know, this situation takes place in John F. Kennedy School System. Mrs. Rose is the character who we are focused on. She is a brand new administrator, in fact, finishing up classes, and the building principal is her superior, the person that she goes to. The school scenario has the appearance of, or has no appearance of, any school community contact. The principal seems to be okay with this. Supposedly through phone calls and parent conferences, he's kind of got this sense that the community does not want to be involved, and the community feels as if the faculty should be the ones with the responsibility. So Mrs. Rose actually talks to the principal, not interested. Then she talks with him again about the possibility of these parental groups. And finally, the principal agrees, but he only wants an advisory group, not a PTA or PTO. So this announcement goes home. I found the announcement, number one, there was only one announcement that went home. I found it very vague, very hard to read, so confusing for parents, I'm sure. At this meeting, only 8 parents showed up, and because of that, then they were kind of in limbo, and the principal was not really in favor of going through with the meeting. And so that's when we were posed with the question, how would we handle the situation? So some things that I would like to know is, number one, how does the school district even function without this school community relationship? Okay, coming from a small school district in my current situation, we rely on the community for a lot of things. They are vital in the education process here in my district personally, and so that's my first question. Number two then is, does the district have a policy? Should the principal and Mrs. Rose have checked in with their superiors, with the superintendent and district office, to see if there is in fact a policy in place that they should be referring to? Number three, how much, truthfully, has the principal tried to communicate with patrons? The scenario said that he has, and that he's got this sense that they're hands off. It's through phone calls, it said, and parent meetings. But I'm wondering if there's any other contact, and how much of that, truthfully, the quantity of contact that the principal has actually had. And then, if there was one of these parental groups, such as PTA or PTO, how long ago has it been? Because obviously, in the professional lifetime of Mrs. Rose and this principal, they have not experienced this, and it has been, poor communication between the school and the community, as far back as at least the principal can remember. So for me, there's two problems. The first one is the lack of involvement that the community has at John F. Kennedy School System. The students are not benefiting from these relationships they can get with community members, and the district then is not getting the help that they could from a parental group. And the second problem, to me, is the principal's just comfort level. And I don't know. It's troubling to me that just his contentment to not want that relationship with the community, because they benefit each other so much. Moving on to my plan of action. So first of all, I'd like to contact the district office, maybe the superintendent, figure out if there is policy that we should be following in this scenario. And if not, I would like to work on creating a policy so that future inquisitions have something to look towards. Then I would like to meet with the superintendent and the building principal just to get on common ground, because I feel like in the scenario, Mrs. Rose and the principal just did not see it eye to eye. And so having that third party and of course their superior being there might just help them and just the whole school system to have that common goal, that common idea. Said that Mrs. Rose was taking a school community relations class, such as this one here, and gathering information. And I'm thinking of myself personally in this real situation, that I'm pulling all of these materials that we're getting in these modules and plugging them into Google Drive so that I can have them for future reference. And so that would be part of my plan of action in this case study scenario as well. And then I'd like to implement multiple ways to communicate with parents, not just a note that goes home or just a random letter once in a while, but have multiple channels. I'd like to finalize the details with the principal so that we know exactly what we're doing during this informative meeting. I would also like to meet with student leaders to just get the vibe around the school as far as how they feel a parental group would benefit them and just their feelings on it in general. As far more plan of action, I'd like to, and this might go along with the getting more communication channels, but just clear up any confusion. Maybe send a secondary note or letter or email or whatever to clear up that. Go through with the presentation regardless of attendance. Start a PTA or PTO if that's what the students want as well, and then just focus on growing it from there. After that has started, maybe at one of those parental group meetings, maybe ask some of the students to come in just to see if there's a way that we can find some common ground and see which direction we're going and how the PTA or PTO can help or best help our students and our district. And then if there's a policy that we're following or one that we created that we are now following, I guess, just to continue to use it so that we're all on the straight and narrow and we're all adhering to district policy. So implementation on that. Obviously, I want to send an email to ask about existing policies, then to meet with the administration to create it if there is none. And I put in there, would like to possibly, if we're creating, communicate with other districts to see if they have samples that we could borrow, see what they're doing, and help each other out that way. Schedule the meeting, obviously, with the superintendent and principal to catch that common ground. Again, find a place such as Google Drive or something to put that administration class information in a place where I can access it easily. Schedule a meeting with the student leaders to get their feelings on the parental group. Put together a presentation for the PTA meeting, that informative meeting. Then using effective communication so that they know when the meeting date and time is. And then that one rolls right into this next one, which is creating ways to communicate with the public, whether that be social media or a community-wide email, or maybe using an app such as Remind and get people plugged in that way. Work with the PTA to recruit other family members or families that would like to join. I'd like to schedule a time to meet with the parents and the students in that joint meeting. And then, of course, have that policy, that community relations policy close so that we can focus on it when we need it. Category 3, ways that I promote success for all. Just trying to find the policy or make one so that our students can benefit from positive relationships and with the community, to figure out what we want and what we believe and what our ideas are, from at the administration down to the staff and the students, so that we're all on the same page there. Find those multiple lines of communication, keep us all on the same page through collaboration and communication. Obviously help start that parental group so they can start benefiting the district and vice versa. And then following this policy, adhering to it, to ensure that we're following what the district has laid out for us. Category 4, as far as what I'm thinking, feeling, and valuing, obviously I'm thinking that'd be nice to have this PTA, to have their help during certain school activities. Feeling a little bit confused as to why the principal's not wanting to put any effort into positive relationships with the community. But I am valuing the positive information and relations that Mrs. Rose is receiving from this class that she is taking. And for me, open or unresolved issues, we're trying to find out whether the district has a community relations policy that we can just look at and follow. It's unresolved why the parents are unwilling to help out. What exactly is that hang up? And as far as open, we're looking for a plan to get the parents and the community members more involved and take a little less responsibility off of the teachers, to do everything. As far as Category 5, this is component number 1, promoting the academic success of every student. One way that I would do that is, again, by meeting with those student leaders to just get their feelings, get their reactions, and how they would want to help or how they would best see this plan moving forward. And then obviously starting this group, if that was something that the student leaders in the school would like to do, starting this group to help at different activities, so that the little group of staff members right now that are taking on those responsibilities can disperse that to a number of people to help out. Component number 2 is promoting the personal well-being of every student. And one way that I do that is by meeting with the parents and the students in that joint meeting, just to figure out our direction, figuring out what are the wants and the needs of both parties and how we can best make it work for both moving forward. And then communicating with parents in the most effective way for them, because again, we need them, we need the community members to make this whole thing go, and everyone benefits from each other if we can find this positive relationship. And component 3 promotes communities of engagement for families and other stakeholders. Number 1 would be just this policy, going back to it. Either we need to locate it or we need to create it. And we need to get it done so that everybody knows what it says and how to follow it. Opening up multiple lines of communication, like I said, whether that be social media, which is so effective right now, whether it be a district-wide email or community-wide email. Maybe it's an app, maybe it's a digital sign, whatever it might be. Not just sending one note home, but finding multiple ways. And then following a policy. Community following the policy, school district following the policy, everyone involved following this policy that is laid out by the district for the benefit of both parties. And that has been my Model 16 case study for EDL 856. I enjoyed so much learning with and from all of you. And thank you, and good luck moving forward.